This week on Lexington Now, the Gobble Grease Toss, honoring our veterans and safe water. I'm Neil Noah, and welcome to Lexington Now for the week of November 16th, 2020. Thanksgiving is next week, and many of us will want to enjoy a deep-fried turkey. What to do with all the oil and grease after the feast? Enter the annual Gobble Grease Toss. Jennifer Myatt, along with a few little helpers, tells us what it's all about.
Once again, we are having Lexington's Gobble Grease Toss on the day after Thanksgiving, which this year is Friday, November 27th. And many of you know it as Black Friday. So if you are out and about and you have cooked a turkey on Thanksgiving and you have cooking oil to get rid of, you can bring it to the Gobble Grease Toss to be recycled. So the Gobble Grease Toss is from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Redwood School on 166 Crestwood Drive off of Nicholasville Road. And we encourage anybody who has used cooking oil to bring it to be recycled into biodiesel. So it's a really good way to do something environmentally healthy this Thanksgiving and this holiday season if you are frying your own turkey. And just make sure that with COVID, we are reducing contacts as much as possible between people, between our staff and the volunteers and the public. So put your cooking oil in a disposable container with a lid in the trunk of your car, and don't get out or roll down the windows or anything. And we'll just take the cooking oil directly out of the trunk of the car for you, and then you can drive out.
The Gobble Grease Toss is important because if you don't recycle the oil, then most people pour it down their drains or into the trash can, which in the trash can it'll eventually go to a landfill. And the more landfills and stuff there are, they have to cut down trees and things for it, which isn't good for the environment.
When you pour your grease down into a drain, there's always the chance that it can just go down your drain and clog your sink. And that's not a good thing. Who likes their sink to get clogged? And then after it goes, if it doesn't get clogged, it'll go to our sewage systems, which can make our water unhealthy. Plus, it could clog our sewage systems, which is like clogging your sink. It's not good.
It's important to help the environment because if we don't, we're probably gonna not survive without the trees and the stuff that we need to survive, like food and trees for oxygen. And if we don't have food, then we're gonna starve.
Hi, my name is Gloria and I recycle boxes. And I think it's important to recycle because it's pretty much helping our environment. And if you throw something away, it will go to the landfill. And the landfill, for them to exist, you have to cut down trees. And so pretty much all of it connects. So I think it's really important to recycle in general.
Hi, I'm Lila and I approve this message.
So the leadership team currently is working on a project on making sure no food goes to waste, because 50% of food is wasted and just thrown away. So we need that food to help feed the hungry. So the Gobble Grease Toss is usually in Thanksgiving, people fry their turkeys and then dump out the oil, but but that's bad for the environment because it usually ends up in the ocean, and that's bad for the fish. So Redwood takes the oil that people fry their turkeys in and turn it into biofuel. Well, we don't turn it into biofuel, but a lab does.
Last week, we honored those who have served our nation in the military. A special program was held to celebrate them. Here are some highlights.
COVID-19, as we all know, is limiting our ability to do many things we wish we could do to show our appreciation for our veterans today. But it can't keep us from offering a heartfelt thank you to each and every veteran. I definitely appreciate you and your service. As veterans, you have had considerable training in leadership. We need the leadership skills you developed in the military now more than ever before as we struggle with this dangerous pandemic. Veterans are so important to Lexington, and they're especially important to me and my family. My husband spent 39 and a half years in the Army and the Army Reserve. My son is an Army Black Hawk pilot, and my daughter is married to an Air Force F-16 pilot. Veterans Day 2020 marks the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II, the 70th anniversary of the beginning of the Korean War, and the 30th anniversary of both the end of the Panama invasion and the beginning of Desert Shield. On Veterans Day, we honor and celebrate the patriotism, service, and sacrifice of all who have stepped forward and pledged to defend our nation during times of peace and times of conflict. Lexington's history stretches back to 1775. We were named for the first battle of the American Revolution, fought in Lexington, Massachusetts. Likewise, Lexington's pride in our veterans stretches back to the Minutemen who won our independence over 2 centuries ago and continues today to our soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, and women fighting throughout the world. The long line of Americans willing to risk their lives for our country and its ideals is without end. Thank you from a very grateful community and a grateful nation.
Most importantly, though, I want to thank the veterans who are joining us today virtually and their families, and to the current military service members for their unwavering commitment to this country. Thank you all for your service to this great nation. And you know, Kentuckians have a very long and proud history of answering the call to serve our nation. In every engagement since the founding of our nation, the Commonwealth has sent its men and women into battle to defend freedom. Today, we are keeping the long-standing American tradition, first taught to us by George Washington, by remembering those who have helped secure the values of liberty we enjoy today. President Washington once said, "The willingness with which our young people are likely to serve in any war, no matter how justified, shall be directly proportional to how they perceive veterans of earlier wars were treated and appreciated by our nation." It is important that we take this time today, and I encourage all of you to do this every day, to be grateful for the service of the men and women who have put on the uniform of our nation and served in the armed forces. We should never forget to reflect on the God-given freedoms we enjoy here in the United States and recognize that they are defended every day by service members both here and abroad.
On Veterans Day in 1988, Ronald Reagan said, "We remember those who were called upon to give all a person can give, and we remember those who were prepared to make that sacrifice if it were demanded of them in the line of duty. Most of all," he said, "we remember the devotion and gallantry with which all of them ennobled their nation as they became champions of a noble cause." Veterans Day is a remembrance of those champions and what President Reagan described as their deep devotion and gallantry. It's a day when together we pause to reflect on American veterans, the country's best men and women who have served and sacrificed while wearing the uniforms of our nation, and those who have defended our country in peace and war.
Thank you for tuning in to today's event and for narrowing your focus on our patriots near and far. To all of our veterans, know this: we are with you. You do not carry your burdens alone. As a nation, we stand ready to help you shoulder that load with the compassion and support of the American people. And to you I say, no truer words are spoken. This is the land of the free and the home of the brave, and we thank you for your bravery. In closing, I encourage you all to pay special attention to our veterans today and all the days that follow.
When we return, how Kentucky American is responding to the ongoing pandemic.
I wear a mask so I can safely fly out of Lexington Airport to go see my grandson.
Because I like grocery shopping and going out shopping with my daughters.
So I can feel safe when I go shopping or go to the grocery.
In memory of my husband, Bill McCann, who was a community leader, and he would have supported this cause.
Help me and wear yours too.
Help me and wear a mask too.
Welcome back to Lexington Now. During these trying times, Kentucky American Water has implemented some changes to ensure the safety of all of its customers and help those who may be struggling. Susan Lancho explains.
As these unusual times in our country and in our community continue with the concern about COVID, we have been taking measures here at Kentucky American Water to make things as convenient as possible for our customers who prefer in-person payments to pay their bills. So certainly a lot of our partner organizations that accept our payments, and they're listed on our website, they're continuing to do so. It's a number of stores in the area, banks, etc. But we also took a special effort to make an interactive payment option available for customers, and that's our interactive customer payment kiosk, which is located in our front parking lot at our Richmond Road location in Lexington. And so if you do prefer to pay your bill in person, with our lobby being closed, you can still do that, just driving through that kiosk, making your payment, and that's just like making your payment here inside the lobby at Kentucky American Water. So we hope that that's a great convenience for our customers. The other thing we want people to know is we know that a lot of people have been financially challenged during these times of COVID, and so in many cases maybe their bills have gone unpaid, and because of concerns with financial issues. And so we understand that, and we want you to know that there are payment plans available. And so if for any reason you're seeing that account balance on your water bill going up because you're not able to make those monthly payments, please give us a call and we'll work out that payment arrangement for you. The number to call is 1-800-678-6301. So let us work with you and we'll provide that payment plan assistance. And you may also qualify for some other programs that are offered year-round. Our H2O Help to Others program, for example, is available for income-eligible customers for help with their bills. And then there are also some funds that have been set up for the state, or by the state rather, to help with people who are having some tough times financially during this pandemic. So please give us a call and let us work out a way that we can help you. We at Kentucky American Water want to assure our customers that the water, their tap water, remains safe to drink. We use a system of treatment with chloramine as the disinfectant, which is the combination of chlorine and ammonia. We test the water many times a day, not only at the treatment plant, but out in the system as well. And so COVID has no influence at all on the quality of your tap water. It remains great quality and safe to drink. We do ask that if you see our crews out working in the area, working on meters, working on hydrants or on water pipes, that you comply with the social distancing measures that are in place for Kentuckians. And also, we do have our facilities closed right now to the public. So our lobbies are not open, for example. But we appreciate everyone's support during this time for our frontline workers, and we want to keep them safe, and we want to keep our customers safe.
We caught up with Brandy Peacher to get an update on the Town Branch Commons project. She gave us the latest information and we learned about some interesting finds along the way.
So the last time we were out on site, there was a lot of demolition going on. So you saw a lot of dirt, a lot of pipes, and a lot of rock, but really nothing that looked like a finished product. So today we're standing here and you can look behind me and see there are now paths that are forming. I'm standing on what is to be the bike path, and I am right beside what will be the pedestrian path. So all along Vine Street, when this is completed, you'll have a separate bike path versus a separate walking path. And then once we get to Midland Avenue, they'll combine. So the bike path that we have running along Vine Street essentially runs right above the Town Branch Commons. So you have that culvert below our feet that collects rainwater and moves it through the downtown core. Once you're down behind Rupp Arena, that water daylights, but in the downtown core, it's right below our feet. And actually, there are a few storm features that are nearby that you'll see. Those are to collect additional storm water as the bioswales grab that water, it cleanses it. If there's more than it can handle, you have those inlets that they can utilize as well that connects to the stormwater. There may be a misconception about us opening up the Town Branch Creek in the downtown corridor, but we're not. We're leaving it in that culvert below ground, and the reason for that is many reasons. Let me explain. One is when you look downtown, there's not a lot of room. So we needed to make sure and accommodate the walking path, the bike path, and still move cars and provide parking along Vine Street. So that's one reason why it's underground. The second reason is we still need that stormwater system. We still need to prevent flooding in the downtown. And so everything that we're doing as part of Town Branch Commons is not only about transportation, but it's about water quality and that collection of stormwater. So we are including or incorporating almost 2 acres of planted areas along this 1.5-mile corridor that will now collect stormwater and filter that water naturally rather than it running off of hard surfaces and into our storm system. So you're still going to see or hear, the water beneath you at certain areas, at certain intervals along the path, but we will not be exposing it in and along the bike path. However, that bike path and this pedestrian path goes right on top of where that stormwater is, that culvert is. So you're walking on water right downtown on top of it. So the Town Branch Commons Trail project is being funded by numerous sources, including federal funds, and that requires us to monitor how we're impacting the environment. And so obviously we're already doing that from a water standpoint, but another way that we're monitoring is from an archaeological standpoint. as we dig into the earth and we uncover what's beneath this hard surface that we've been walking and driving on, there are layers of history beneath it. And so we are required, and we have hired an archaeologist to be on site. So anytime you see our guys digging, the archaeologist is there monitoring. And down on Zone 4, or in your all's terms, the Lexington Center site, right behind Triangle Park, the archaeologists uncovered historically significant items. So we'll hop down to Triangle Park here shortly, and we'll talk to Betty Kerr, our Director of Historic Preservation with the City of Lexington, and she can give us a little more detail as to what they're uncovering at Triangle Park.
So, okay. We do know, and the interesting thing is the bricks, the way that they're orientated, they're actually like lined up against Vine Street, which
we're in a really interesting area of town adjacent to Triangle Park, and what's being uncovered by the archaeologists are things indicative of 1840s to 60s Chinaware and a fascinating metal stove plate that is from a heating, their main heating source. Things that all tell us parts about people's lives here in the first half of the 19th century in Lexington. And it's such, because of where it is, it was residential, it was businesses, there was a tavern right across the street we're sure of. One of the first things encountered was a historic cistern, which again had materials around the top of it that dated from the 1840s, 1850s, and is not been fully opened up, so we don't know what's lurking in there. The project, we're hoping to not disturb anything that is not necessary to disturb, but it's indicative that we're in a backyard space, probably of a home, and possibly of adjacent businesses. We're just beside what is the town branch, Water Street, and so we know there was a hide operation, a merchant who sold hides here, and so there's all sorts of potential for the artifacts. The other thing they have found are some really fascinating foundations to buildings, particularly along the Main Street. They would have had Main Street frontage, but also ones that face Spring Street. So we're at a corner, actually on three sides of this project. So they found brick that are walkways and roadbed, and actually a couple of layers of those separated by time. Time being maybe 50 to 80 years difference in the time periods. So the layering, the magic of archaeology is that it's like seeing an opening up a time period in history, is to see it peel back and tell us these stories through these artifacts.
You can find more at lexingtonky.gov/townbranchcommons. Most meetings at City Hall are running virtually, but we are bringing many of these meetings to you live. Check out our website for the most accurate and up-to-date coverage of city business. And for the latest on how the city is handling the pandemic, visit our official response site, including testing sites. Simply click on the banner at the top of our homepage. That's all for now, but as always, you can keep up with us on social media, check out the latest traffic updates on Twitter @LexRex, or catch our live traffic cams on lexingtonky.gov. For all of us at Lex TV, I'm Neil Noah, and that's it for now.